Well, back in 2013, I read an article, and through doing so, I discovered no one's actually gone to every single country in the world completely without flying. There's a guy who came pretty close, but there was some flights involved. So I had a career within shipping and logistics, and a girlfriend, and a life, and there was nothing in the cards saying that I would go out and do something like this. But the idea just stuck with me, and yeah, so I had a look at it and planned it out and wondered, do I have what it takes to do it? And on the 10th of October 2013, I left home.
And how many countries have you managed to visit so far?
I created a list of 203 countries, and so far it's 194, so I've got 9 more countries to go before it's every country in the world.
You mentioned that you don't fly anywhere, so how do you manage to get around then?
Well, I arrived to Hong Kong on board a container ship, and most of the remaining countries are in the Pacific. All of the remaining countries are countries which I need to sail to get to, and there are no ferries to any of them. But the majority of the project has been with buses and with trains.
And if you're trying to hit every country in the world, do you get to spend a lot of time in each place?
Yeah, on average I'm 11.4 days in each country, but it's really a lot more work than it's enjoyment. I spend a lot of that time doing motivational speaking at companies and that kind of stuff, or at embassies or at borders and stuff like that, sitting in front of a laptop doing research or replying to people and updating myself. So yeah, I thought it would be a lot more fun and adventurous, and there's certainly a lot of that when you look back. But this has been going on for more than 6 years now, so there's bound to be some good stuff in it as well.
I see. And when we travel, usually we take a plane, and it's A to B, and we're just trying to get from one place to the other as quickly as we can. Have you learned anything about yourself or about people in general just by spending a little bit more time getting from place to place?
Oh, most definitely. I do spend a lot of the time within this project with local people, and the budget is really small for this project, so I go with local transportation, I eat where local people they eat, and a lot of the time I'm invited in with families and I stay with them. Culturally, I've learned a lot. I'm much better at geography today than I was when I left home, but I've also learned project management, project execution. I've learned to balance a budget for a project, large-size project, raise funds. I've learned tons and tons of stuff about reading people, my own limits, and, well, really language. There's no end to the list of things I've learned within this project. I'd say that one of the main takeaways from the project is I probably knew that the world wasn't exactly as we see it on TV and in media, what we talk about back home, but seeing that with your own eyes is truly something. The world is truly a much more friendly and easygoing place than what media leads on.
It must be difficult, though, not using the traditional means of transport. Is it expensive? How are you able to afford doing all of this stuff?
Well, the budget we set for this project is $20 per day, so that's not a whole lot. But in some countries, that can actually get you pretty far. That's meant as an average amount and not a limit, so I can spend more than $20 a day if I want, but I need to recover it somewhere else. The $20 per day covers 4 aspects of the project. So that's transportation, accommodation, meals, and visas. And I'd say that balances out pretty well over these 6 years now, because I do stay with a lot of families, and I stay at really cheap places, and I eat street food and that kind of stuff. The money comes from 3 sources. There are people who follow the project online. Some of them, they make donations. Then I've been working my entire life, so I had some savings, and I put that into the project. And there's also a financial partner called Ross DK, who sponsor about 40% of the project.
In Hong Kong, we're dealing with this coronavirus outbreak. Has that changed your plans at all, or how you've enjoyed the city?
I'm definitely enjoying being in Hong Kong. I think this is an amazing part of our planet. And I've met so many friendly people. I posted that in some way. Hong Kong friendly people doesn't exist, but really I've met a lot of friendly people. And yeah, I mean, life here seems pretty normal, except that it's a bit slow-paced, and a lot of people are wearing masks, but people are still taking selfies and going out and that kind of stuff. My plans have been destroyed by the coronavirus. I can't reach any of the Pacific Island nations from Hong Kong now because there are travel bans. And yeah, so right now I'm looking at finding a ship that can take me all the way down to New Zealand, which is basically on the other side of the planet, just to clear my record of China and Hong Kong.